Hey guys, this is Seatman Sports, and today we're going to be talking about my 5 observations from week 2 of the NFL season, so let's get into it. Observation number 1 is that backup quarterbacks are already a huge part of this NFL season so far. We just found out that Ben Roethlisberger is out for the entire season with a torn ligament in his right arm. Drew Brees may be out for up to 6 weeks with a torn ligament in his right thumb. Nick Foles is out until week 11 with a broken left clavicle, and Sam Darnold has mono and is out for an indefinite period of time. This means the backups behind them have to step up in their place. For the Saints, that's Teddy Bridgewater, who they traded a 3rd-round pick for last year to be the heir apparent to Drew Brees. Now, he struggled against the Rams this past Sunday, but I'm confident Bridgewater can keep the Saints afloat as they contend for a playoff spot. For the Steelers, it's a little bit of a different story. Mason Rudolph has never really played significant snaps at all in the NFL, and now he's asked to step into a Steelers team that's already in an 0-2 hole and in a tough division with the Ravens and the Browns. For the Jaguars, we've already seen Gardner Minshew come in and play well. He almost led the Jaguars to a comeback victory against the Texans this past weekend, but after a failed 2-point conversion, the Jaguars weren't able to pull it off. For the Jets, it's going to be Trevor Siemian for an unknown period of time. But if the Jets want to have a chance to make the playoffs this year, they're going to need Trevor Siemian to keep them afloat if they have any chance in the AFC East. My second observation is that the NFC South is wide open right now. With the injury to Drew Brees, I really think there's no longer a favorite in this division. If you look at Atlanta, they just had an uninspiring victory versus Philadelphia, and I still don't trust their defense that much. Carolina has gotten off to a slow start with Cam Newton, but their defense is legit, and I think Cam is going to progress as the season goes on. The Buccaneers are 1-1, and they squeaked a win by against Carolina on Thursday night, but I can't trust a team that has Jameis Winston as quarterback. So right now, I think the NFC South is wide open, probably more so than any division in the league right now. And if you think you know who's going to win this division, you really don't. And that's the beautiful thing about the NFL and the beautiful thing about this season right now. My third observation of week 2 is that the Ravens and the Cowboys have played excellent, but how much can we really take from their victories because of the opponents that they've played? The Ravens have played the Dolphins, who probably are the worst team in football, and then had a nice win at home against the Cardinals. Lamar Jackson has been phenomenal. 7 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. He was the first quarterback in NFL history to pass for 250 yards and rush for 125 yards in the same game. We're talking about something that Michael Vick never did in his entire career, and Lamar Jackson has done that in his 2nd year. He's been impressive. The Cowboys have had wins over the Giants and the Redskins, but Dak Prescott's been really impressive as well. He's looking for that new contract. He has 7 touchdowns and 1 interception in his time, and the Cowboys have handled both of those teams. The Cowboys then go on to play the Dolphins this next week, so we may have to wait a little bit to see how legit they actually are. But the Ravens this Sunday play the Kansas City Chiefs in the matchup of the week against Patrick Mahomes. If it's anything like the game was last year, it's going to be a thriller, and the Ravens have a chance to prove that they are among the AFC's elite, and they may actually be Super Bowl contenders. So those are 2 teams to watch out for moving forward, because we still don't quite know how good they actually are. My 4th observation of week 2 is that teams are getting aggressive and going for 2 late in the game instead of going for the tie. Both the Jaguars and the Broncos did this in their respective games, and they actually both didn't end up winning, but I think it was the right decision both times. The Jaguars got stuffed on a 2-point conversion attempt. The Broncos actually converted their 2-point attempt, but then the Bears came back and won the game on a last-second field goal. However, I love the aggressiveness on both of these teams. With about 30 seconds left in both games, both coaches didn't go for the tie. They tried to go for the win. you have a 60% chance of converting a 2-point conversion. If you go into overtime, that's 50-50. And I don't know if you guys know math, but 60% is better than 50%. This is a smart thing to do in this scenario, and it's the right thing to do. It's an aggressive thing to do, and football coaches are usually really conservative, especially two old school guys like Doug Marrone and Vic Fangio. So I was really excited that both of these guys tried the 2-point conversion in the situation that they were in. Outside of Bill Belichick and Doug Peterson, you don't really see a lot of coaches make that decision. I like the aggressive decision, even if it didn't work out for both teams. Number 5 is that the Dolphins aren't just bad, they may be historically bad in the NFL. The Dolphins right now have a negative 92-point differential, which is the worst in NFL history through 2 games. There's been a lot of bad teams in NFL history, and the Dolphins are competing with all of them. The Dolphins are trying to do this. They're trying to tank. This is what happens when you trade away all of your good players. But the result is really ugly, and I don't know that it's good for the game. The Dolphins right now are 3.5 to 1 odds to go 0-16. No team has had that good of odds to go 0-16 this early in the season in NFL history. That means the people in Vegas actually think this is a real possibility. Obviously, the Dolphins are going to try to win every game that they play in, and the coaching staff is going to try to do that. But this front office will have no problem if this team goes 0-16 and locks up the first pick in the draft. This may be one of the worst teams of all time, and that's definitely something to look to. There's been a lot of really bad teams that didn't go 0-16. I really think the Dolphins have a legit shot to do so, and it probably wouldn't even shock anyone. It's going to be a super dynamic season, and it's a little too early to be calling shots, but this is what I see so far. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel for even more content throughout the NFL season. Thanks for watching.